My name is Chris Lewis. That's what my mom named me, Chris Lewis, and my schooling named me Dr. Chris Lewis. I'm the former chaplain manager here at Hinds, but one day I thought I didn't want to manage anyone other than patients and families. I started missing being in the presence of families, engaging with families. There's nothing like it. When I was managing, I was working hard every day. Now that I'm doing what I love doing, I haven't worked a day since I stopped managing. But I love what I do. And it's so interesting. I hear people at many times ask the question, volunteers and other people, friends and family members of those who are dying or in turmoil, well, what do I do? What do I say? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. The greatest thing that you can offer anyone, a friend, colleague, patient, their families, is simply yourself. No more. Yourself. You don't have to say a thing necessarily, but just offering yourself, your presence, eye contact. You listen with your eyes, listen with your ears, and just be there. The story in the Bible is really good. The story of Job. Anybody ever heard of Job in the Bible? Okay. A little story about, Job lost everything. His family, his wealth, his health, had sores all over his body, scraping the sores and scabs off with pottery. His 3 friends showed up. For 7 days and 7 nights, they remained silent. Didn't say a word. Simply sat with Job and not uttered a sound. Then after 7 days and 7 nights, they began to accuse him, to tell him what's probably wrong, why this is happening, what's going on. Is it sin in your life? Is it something you've done? What have you done, Job? After they gave all their spiel of what they thought, Job in chapter 16 says, "You all are miserable comforters." Notice he was okay with them while they were silent. But once they spoke up, do you know many times people will not remember what you said unless you say something really off the wall. They want your presence. My brother, bless his heart, he's in heaven now, and I know he's running his mouth. I would have him to ride with me sometime. Come ride with me. He would get in the car, and all I wanted was his presence. But he couldn't shut his mouth. And I would have to turn the radio up a little bit, hoping maybe he'll be quiet. But his presence going to and fro with me meant more than anything. Today I want to talk about ministry of presence and the art of listening. It kind of goes hand in hand. Our objective today, to learn how to make a difference in the lives of others, being present in a way that is healing, nurturing, and potentially transforming. So what is ministry of presence? It means moving in close to listen with our eyes and ears, laying down our defensiveness, and we're going to talk about that more, and agendas, and offering empathy. It simply means to show up. Ministry of presence. Whether you know it or not, if you are waiting on someone, caring for someone, you are a minister. Whether you're in church or not in church, whatever your faith may be, the word ministry means to wait on. And we want to learn how to wait on people by many times zipping our lips, keeping eye contact, watching the body language, and we'll talk about that more. So what healing is not, what this ministry of presence is not. A ministry of presence does not involve fixing what may seem to be wrong in others' lives. How many of us think our job is to fix it? To go in, you got to have an answer. If they ask a question, you got to have an answer. If you see them going in a direction that you don't believe in, you need to point them in the right direction. That's not good. What you do at that point, you make it about you and not about them. We want to walk the journey with them. We want to go the direction they're going, especially in this arena. Sometimes it's different in the church, of course. People in the church, they want to be told what to do. They want the pastor to explain. Tell me, pastor, what to do. But in this arena that we're in here at Hinds, we must honor people and where they are. We cannot make it our agenda. We cannot fix it. Don't try to fix it. Fixing anyone does not come from the outside. When one is fixed or healed, it comes from the inside. You can encourage it. You can nudge toward it, but to receive it, it must be done by the recipient. As we move toward ministry of presence, there's only one place to begin: yourself. What I mean by that, you're going to have to reflect about yourself. What is it about you that make you think what you're thinking when you're in that situation? We bring our theology to the table. We bring our history to the table. We bring our anger to the table. Bring our disappointments in life to the table. And we tend to want to fix it for others, so it happened to me. I don't want it to happen to you. Let me tell you what you need to do. So it starts with you. If you don't know thyself, you won't know when you're about to mess up. You've got to know yourself, what you like, what you don't like, what do you bring to the table? What's your agenda? You know, some people, they like volunteering because they just want to help people, and helping people to them is doing stuff. I know what's good for you, so this is what I'm going to give you. I know what you need to hear, so this is what I'm going to say. You need my counsel, so let me give it to you. Honey, child, you need Jesus. Here he is. It's what you think or what we think. But we've got to start with ourselves to do what? Move ourselves out the way. You've got to move out the way. If you're going to have a great ministry of presence, you have got to get yourself out of the way. And when I say yourself, I mean our stuff, our agenda. We want to give healthy care. And healthy care is what the other person needs to receive, not what we feel we need to give them. You must be consciously aware of your desire to fix it. And that's kind of an innate desire with people. We want to fix it. Not just sit and listen and be there. We want to fix it. 30 years ago, one of the greatest teachers in my life told me, as we were sitting at the dinner table, and she was having a problem, and I tried to tell her how to fix it. I'm talking about my wife. I tried to tell her how to fix it. You know what she told me? Shh. I don't need you to fix it. I just need you to listen. Now, it wasn't a one-time thing. You know, I have short-term memory problems, so this has gone on for years and over of learning. She doesn't want me to fix it. She wants me to listen as she fixes it in her own spirit. So watch this. Your desire to fix it. I just got to fix it. I just know if I tell them this, it's going to fix it for them, and that's going to be healing, and I can put a check mark by my name, and God will be pleased, and I can have a good night's sleep. Don't try to fix it. You're not here to fix it. I know that might sound strange to some of you, but you're not here to fix it. The best thing ever happened to me as a chaplain was when I had clinical pastoral education, because I thought my job coming out of seminary was to evangelize the world and the devil. But it taught me how to be present with people. That's how we're able to be in an interfaith of many faiths. And how do you give spiritual care to a person that's not even spiritual, you think? Well, guess what? Everyone's spiritual. You know why? Everyone has a spirit. If you didn't have a spirit, you would not be looking at me right now. So every human has a spirit. So when we go in for ministry of presence, we're not just present with their bodies, but we're present with their spirit. As the spirits engage, we simply walk along. And we'll talk about that. Being aware of your judgment towards others. You ever been talking to someone and you just knew, oh my goodness, look at them. Now here they are, whining and crying. And it's all on them. They did it to themselves. They're sick because they did it to themselves. So look at you. If you hadn't done that, you'd be okay. You got to stay away from that, because judging others will get in the way of healthy ministry of presence. So erase the judgment. You're not there to judge. God did not call you there. If you believe in God, God didn't call you there to be the judge and jury. He called you there to be present. Just to be present. So watch that judgment. Ministry of presence is most effective when it's least active. Oh my goodness, you hear that? Most effective when it's least active. Wow, doesn't that sound strange? So what does that mean? In other words, we're not asking you to do something, but be there. Just to be present. Follow the leader. Anybody ever played follow the leader as a kid? When we didn't, we went outside to play when we was growing up. Remember that? Yes. Now the kids are inside on the computers and on the phones and what have you. But follow the leader. That's how you do it with them. Follow the leader. Wherever they are, that's where you need to be. And I'm going to talk about non-anxious stuff in just a moment, but be with them. I remember a long time ago, Michael Jackson singing the song, I Want to Be Where You Are. That's it. You want to be where they are. You don't want to go in and make them say, come here, I want you to be where I am. And if you be where I am, oh, you're going to be all right. You're going to have it together if you believe what I believe and think like I think, look like I look, walk like I walk, talk like I talk. You're going to be just fine then. No. Find out where they are. Let them become like a book to you. You know, as preachers, you learn in Scripture how to interpret Scripture, exegeting the Scriptures, going in and doing word studies, pulling the words out. What does this word mean? What does that word mean in this context? That's what you need to do. Exegete your people by listening to their words. Asking them even, did I hear you say? Now, would you repeat that to me? Remember this, it's most effective when it's least active. You probably heard the expression, don't just do something, stand there, right? Everybody's heard that? To be a minister of presence, don't just do something, sit there. Don't just do something. When you have an agenda going into someone, that raises your anxiety. I'm anxious when I feel like I've got an agenda and I got to make them do what I think they ought to be doing. I'm anxious. When I got to the point that when I walk into a room or walk into people, my only agenda is the people or person I'm seeing. I want to know what's going on with them today. And if I go in and I say, well, how are you feeling today? Is today a good day? How's today? Yes, all right. – That body language right there just told me something. What I'm going to say there, well, I'm not going to say to them, well, wait, why you got your arms all folded if it's all right? No, I'm going to say to them, well, tell me what's been going on today. I'm starting to read their book. If I hear a word, now you use the word anger. Could you tell me more about that? You use the words, I just can't stand it anymore. Could you kind of unpack that for me? So what I'm doing, I'm actively reflecting with them. If they say, I just can't stand this, my this is that, I say, well, now, am I hearing you say that you just can't stand this and you're this and that? Notice, I didn't add anything. All I did was just repeat it in a summary type way of what they said. And I keep my eyes on them. And you'll have to feel the spirit on that. Some people don't like you staring at them the whole while. So you'll feel the spirit on that. You may have to kind of veer off every now and then and come back. But when you actively reflect people where they are. Now, once again, don't have an agenda. If I say, my uncle's going to hell. You don't say, well, I can lead him to Jesus. No, you want to say, well, what makes you say that? Why do you feel that way? That way it's not a sense of judgment. I'm simply wanting them to tell me their story. I'm somewhat interviewing their spirit and not trying to interject my spirit. Now, I won't say that again. I'm interviewing their spirit and not trying to interject my spirit. That's healthy. It's unhealthy to interject your spirit and to make a person dance like you dance. When listening, don't just rush to say something, hush there. You don't have to talk every time there's a period in the sentence. Silence is golden. Sometimes people just trying to get it out, they're not looking for that answer once again. So don't always rush to give the answer. I mean, don't bust in the room, pulling you answer man, answer woman, you got it. No. Sit there, let the silence, let them think. Silence is great. A lot of ministry of presence has to do with silence, just being there. Just show up, not show out, but show up. Simple as that. Don't attempt to make things better. Just listen. Don't attempt to make things better. Just listen. By them expressing, their spirits are feeling better because they're getting it out. You know how the psychiatrist does you. We'll go into the psychiatrist and the old sofa or whatever, and all he's doing is walking you along, actively reflecting, bringing up good words. You're doing all the talking. And you get up and you're happy to wave that $150 or whatever and say, boy, you did it to me today. No, you did it to yourself. He just walked along with you and guiding you through the words he was hearing, the questions that he might have asked, and telling you to tell me more about that. Talk more about that. How do you feel? What are your feelings about right now? And feelings is ministry. Always zero in on the feelings. Always try to go for the feelings. Women are good at expressing their feelings. Most ministry of presence in the art of listening, it's always really good with ladies because they really express themselves. If you ask most guys, how do you feel, they'll tell you what they think. How do you feel about that? Well, I think if you would, that's not your feelings. So we want to focus in on the feelings, listening, support them. They may be wrong as all get out. They might, that's not your job. Support them where they are. Wherever they are in life, let them talk about it. Ask them about it. Tell me more. And keep an eye, and I have this in the slide here, and you have it in there. When you just say, I see, or, oh, wow. Now say that again. Am I hearing you say? Well, how does that make you feel? Oh, it works. It works. It's taking the anxiety out of everything I've done with people. It's because I don't have an agenda going in. I'm not going to say, well, they need to be 5 feet tall when I leave the room, so I'm going to chop them down or raise them up. No. Allow people to be who they are. God knows what he's doing. They know what they're doing, and they know what they want to be. So allow that. In other words, get out the way. Remember, the first thing you need to be aware is yourself. Get out the way. Move. Get out the way. And allow them while actively reflecting. Once again, active reflective. It's the best thing you can use in talking to people. Summarize what people are saying to you. Summarize it. And then they'll get to the point, like most times. How many people have told me in the past, you're the first person to ever really listen to me? And they say that why? Because I'm simply actively reflecting what they're saying. And I'm keeping that eye contact. And the more you actively reflect and engage with people, it builds trust. It builds a rapport to where people want to talk to you. Why? Because you listen. Most people, everybody can hear that can hear, but you can hear without listening. Because to listen to someone is actually listening for words, expressions, body language. All of these things talk. There was something I read not long ago. It says in a conversation, only 6% of the words are really heard, but 90-some odd percent is body language that people just pick up on. Instead of being the answer person, once again, respond with words like, tell me more about that. And when you say, tell me more about that, or ask, get out the way. Do not interrupt them. Even if there's 30 seconds or a minute of silence, just don't say anything. Let them process. Let your being be more about just being than saying. Give them a moment to process, because their minds are going. These people are dying. Family members, friends of these people, they got a lot going on, and they need someone to listen. They don't need a sermon. No. They just need us to listen. Ministry of presence. Getting out of the way, not interrupting, actively, reflectively listening to people, and keeping your eyes in their direction. It shows you care. A minister of presence, and I put minister intentionally because in my mind, you're all the ministers. I know you might say, I'm not a minister. Well, if you're waiting, I didn't say you were a preacher. I didn't say you were a pastor. I said you're a minister. And if you're waiting on someone by volunteering, you're a minister. You're waiting on. A minister of presence surrenders their agenda. A minister of presence releases their own will so that they can follow the lead of others' experience. You want to get their experience. And stop telling them, well, I experienced that too. Let me tell you about my story. Oh, my story is so similar to your story. Let me tell you about my story. Then all of a sudden, they're sitting there listening to you tell your story. And they don't have an opportunity to process their story. They need ears, not only on the side of our heads, but to feel those ears in our spirits. This surrender includes letting go of the need to insert your own theology. How many of you feel like if you're in a household and you see this person is lost, they told you they're lost. They told you they haven't been in church. How many feel the need to now sermonize, give you theology, or just bring them to Jesus? Give me your hand, honey child. I'm taking you to Jesus. No, you got to know that's what they want. I feel like I'm going to hell. I've never been in church. Tell me more about that. How did that come to this point? Oh, I love dealing with atheists. I love hearing the atheist story of how they got to the point they no longer believe in God. Interesting stories. And some atheists have been some of the best people I've ever met in life. Yeah, I know some Christian folk. I don't know, the jury's still out on them. But I've met many atheists, beautiful people, people of other faith. You know, coming out of seminary, I thought God only allowed Christian people into heaven. I don't know about that anymore. I just don't. I'm not giving you an answer. I'm not speaking theology with you. No, I'm just saying the jury is out. Because I've known some people that has really portrayed the life of Jesus, and they're not Christians. I have a Muslim friend. He prays 5 times a day. He fasts. He tries to get to Mecca. He's never been there yet on the pilgrimage. He does things for the neighborhood. You can be out doing your yard. He'll stop by and grab some clippers and talking with you. He's helping you with your yard. Just doing things for people. I have some Christian friends I can call them and say, come help me. Well, you know the end of that story. I mean, many of them don't. So, but I don't judge. And that's what I'm trying to get to you. Don't judge. You don't know what God is doing. You don't know what's happening in their spirits. And stop giving your theology unless they ask you for it. If they ask you, say, well, you know, I'm going to hell. And this, and he said, no. If they say, well, now what about you? How do you feel? That's the door. So you need them to open the door for you, not kick it in because you think you need to get inside. And this is ministry in this arena. Now, I know you probably do that different with your church people, your church groups, and what have you. But this is ministry of presence within the health care. Because we have to be very careful. Letting go of the need to insert your own ideas of what's best for others. We talked about that. There's only 2 people I know that know what's best for me. And that's God and my wife. Oh, yeah, she always knows what's best. I have to ask her, what am I thinking? What should I think today? Your surrender includes holding back on the impulse to share your own experience. It's not about your story. Even if you feel like their story is exactly like your story. You just went through this last year. Your people, somebody you know, your friend just went through this last year, and I can tell you how to get out of it. Here's my story. No. Unless they ask for your story. Keep your story, okay? Don't share your story unless the door opens. That's good ministry of presence. Now I know you listen to me and not like my brother just waiting for me to get to the period in the sentence so he can tell me what I need to do. Listen. Be open to listening. It's not about your story. A minister of presence mostly speaks with their comfortable, non-anxious gaze. Let's stop right there for a moment. Comfortable, non-anxious gaze. Now, if a person says something to you that shocks you, don't let your expression tell them what your heart is thinking. If they say something like, you know, I can't stand that person, don't say, what? No. Just keep it. Non-anxious presence is, I'm not going to get anxious about anything or show any fidgety about me because you told me something that just shocked me. I've gotten really good at that, of hearing shocking things. And I can sit there sometime and think to myself, boy, if they just knew what I was thinking right now, they'd probably put me out. You've got to watch your expressions. Don't go wild, don't frown up, no, just be a non-anxious with a comfortable gaze, just kind of gazing, your attentive silence. How do I know you're listening to me? Most times in a conversation, how would I know that you're actually listening? Eye contact, there's attentive silence. I'm looking at you. Now, if I'm talking or you talking and I'm get the remote control and but when you're looking, attentive silence. They know you're there. They know you're engaged. And once again, you'll control facial expressions. Don't seem shocked. You're going to hear some shocking things. You're going to want to fix it, especially if you've ever been done wrong in life. Say a person's been abused by somebody. Now this person is being abused. Oh, you angry now, the abuser. And you're going to fix this. And all they're doing is telling you the story of abuse. No, let them walk through it. Let them talk about it. Ask them questions about it. Tell me more. Oh, you cannot pick a better few words. Tell me more. Or can you share more about that? Now, did I hear you say, tell me a little bit more about that? Now you're out of the way. You're getting their story. You're getting their experience, and you're not telling them what you did. Next one. Speak actively reflective to show you're totally attentive to their words. We've talked about that. Short sentences like, I see. Looking at them, nodding your head. Tell me more. I sense you have something more to say about this. That's good ministry of presence. I sense you have something more to say about it. Don't sense that you have something more to say about it, but sense that they have something more to say, and say that to them. I sense you have something more to say about this. When you can be engaged with others' feelings and honor their right to be who they are. Oh my goodness, can we just stop there? Honor their right to be who they are. Is that hard enough? Coming out of seminary, we wasn't taught that. I was not honoring the right for you to be who you are. I thought I knew right about who you need to be. And that's what seminary teaches you to go tell, go teach, go show, go lead. Can't remember one professor that really told me, listen. It will be your greatest asset just to listen and follow people where they are. Let me tell you this story. Seminary professor, we're in class, and I'm doing all the chaplaincy stuff, and I know this, and he started talking to this guy. This guy said, sir, I was at the hospital the other night, and my friend, he wanted his baby to be baptized. He's Roman Catholic, and the baby died. He wanted me to baptize a dead baby. He said, well, what would you do, Professor? The professor said, well, I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd turn to Romans 6. I say, first of all, he said, let's go down to the chapel. And then I'd turn to Romans 6, and I'd give him a lesson right there on what real baptism is. That was the most unhealthy care he could have given that family who wanted their dead baby baptized. That would have ministered to them like everything, because they believe in their theology. In Roman Catholicism, if the baby dies and not baptized, the baby stays in purgatory. But to release the baby needs to be baptized, and God brings the baby home. Was that healthy ministry or unhealthy ministry? Did they need a Bible study and the baby just died? Did he need to tell them what was right? No, he should have sat with them. Baptize the baby. I had to go baptize a baby like that. And personally, I didn't, I'm not Roman Catholic, but it wasn't my baby. It was their baby. And I was there for them and their baby. And there I was doing something I was not trained to do. I wasn't trained in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and here's this baby. I'm just like, okay, it's done. The baby's in heaven. But their theology tells them it must be done. So once again, I didn't make it about me. I made it about them. There's going to be some things you're going to do or not say or not judge or not give your opinion when you know you is just as right can be in doing it. It would have helped you just as much as it would have helped them just to get it out, but just to walk away from it and allow them to be who they are, where they are, and to own their own experience. That's ministry of presence. You're there for them, not for you. You don't walk in the door and say, well, I'm here today so I can feel better about myself. No, you're here today so they can feel better about themselves, or at least tell their story. Get their story. You got to be a reporter. Just get the story. The right to be who they are and to believe what they believe, then you become a healing instrument. Let them believe what they believe. God is not going to hold you accountable because they believe something you don't believe or you think they're wrong. No, God is not going to do that. You could have been that stepping stone of just listening to, well, you're the kind of believer that doesn't come in beating me over the head with the Bible and waving the bloodstained banner. You actually listen. Ministry of presence when the patient is unresponsive. So what do? The patient doesn't say anything. They can't talk. They're just there. You know what many people will do when the patient can't talk? Be on Facebook. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've walked in on many volunteers, especially younger ones. They Facebooking it up. No. You're there not to get friends on Facebook. You're there not to post. No, you're not there for that. This is what you do when they can't talk. Do you know that hearing is the last to go? The last sense to go is hearing. People can be there. It's been people, comatose patients will tell you they heard everything going on in the room when they came out of the coma. They can still hear. So what do? You don't talk, and you don't get on the phone talking. They hear you talking about all that. You're supposed to be there for them, and you gossiping about Sally and Jim and Billy and Bob. And they hear you. They may never tell you that, but they hear you. So talk to them. Read to them. Find out from the family what they like. Bible verses, books. Do they have certain authors that they like? You simply sit by the bedside in ministry of presence and read their favorite readings to them. And talk to them almost as if they're going to answer you back. Talk. We had one patient the other day, became imminent, wasn't talking to anybody, hadn't said anything. The nurse in the room there, she walks over, she just rubbing him and talking and his head and talking. Everybody's thinking he's about to die. She's all on touch. She went to walk off and the man grabbed her arm, looked at her, simply smiled, and closed his eyes again. He's still with us. But we thought he couldn't receive. We thought he was gone. He heard everything. He felt the gentle touch. Touch him. It's okay to touch him. You know, that's the one thing many sick people that's dying talk about, that people stop touching them. They just stop touching. One story I was reading just recently of this guy, he was dying. He says when he first got his diagnosis, his wife would come by the bedside, kiss him, sit down, sit on the bed. The disease progressed. He got a little bit sicker. Now she would come by the bedside and just kind of stand there and look at him. He got even more sicker. He said it got to the point she would just come, look in the door and say, "Hi, honey," and walk off. There's something about people dying that makes us not want to touch them. Touch them. They're not going to do anything to you. What they have is not going to get on you. No, you're not going to catch anything but maybe a blessing. Touch them. Sing songs. Now you say, I can't sing. Well, there's the next one. Play music. Take your phone out. Don't open up Facebook. Go to YouTube. Go to wherever, Apple Music, whatever you want to do. Play music. put the phone right by the pillow. I have a social worker friend that I used to work with. Oh, she does that all the time. She finds out what they like, country music, whatever it is they might like. She'll find that channel, and they're not even responding. She just puts the phone right there and just sit by the bedside and just rub their arms. Oh, wow, you're talking ministry of presence. Wouldn't you want that if you were there? Wouldn't you want someone there for you and not for them? Wouldn't you want someone that's not afraid to touch you because you're dying? Or stay away from you because they feel like they can't do anything? And that's why many family members, people can get sick. They say, I haven't seen my brother, I haven't seen my cousin. Why? You know why? They feel like they can't do anything, so they feel helpless, so they feel useless. Well, if you get that helplessness out of you and that uselessness away from you and not have an agenda, then you're not supposed to do anything. Just come, just be present. I tell patients and families all the time, call the people that's not coming and simply tell them, we know you can't do anything. We know you don't have the answer. We know there's not a miracle involved in this at this time. We just want to see you. We don't want to hear you. We just want to see you. It releases the responsibility of, well, what do I say? How do I pray? What am I supposed to do? Just be present. That's all we need as ministers of presence. Just be present. Listen to them. It's not about you. It's not about your story. It's not about your experiences. Just actively, reflectively listen. Summarize. Is that what I heard you say? Yeah? Tell me more. Ministry of presence. It's easy. Take away the agenda, your attitude, your theology, your stuff, and just be. I'm not asking you to be a verb when you go in the room. I just want you to be a noun. Okay? No action. If you do any action, the action comes with actively reflecting the words. That's it. So tonight, I pray and hope that anything I've said or done will help you, and you'll be the best noun you'll ever be in your life. Ministry of presence. Amen. Amen.